So Mia Khalifa, the women's role model, decided to come out and give women advice on marriage, which is just the most laughable situation of all time. I mean, this woman, if you're a woman watching in the audience right now, you know, you should never live your life like Mia Khalifa. If you got an OnlyFans, delete it. You know, if you
get off of it.
Just stop.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, anything like this. Every single thing this person does is the perfect role model for like how not to live as like a woman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But she's gonna tell you guys. She shares her thoughts on marriage. How do y'all feel about this? Well, let's see how we feel about it. You know, as men,
strong alpha men,
strong alpha white men.
Okay.
let's review her advice.
Yeah.
So somebody says, facts, married at 18, divorced at 20. So she's going to give her thoughts on this.
Oh, we're comparing stats. Baby girl doesn't know that I am Tom Brady at this game. Married at 18, divorced at 21. Second marriage, married at 25, divorced at 28. Third engagement, engaged at 29, ended it at 30, but I kept the ring. I'm still keeping Tom Brady on his toes.
Wow.
All right, these are not things you ever want to brag about as a woman, unless like these 3 marriages you were getting like just beat or like abused and you had to leave. But even then, that just indicates that your choice in men is just astronomically horrible.
Yeah, because at the same time, like you as the woman are choosing to get married. She was not forced into marriage in any of these. And even when we're going to watch in all these other instances, she never admits to being forced into marriage. What she's describing here is, I got married and then I just got bored and I wasn't happy and I just left. And then I did that 3 more times.
You know, we talked about pearly things. She talked about how we should, make divorce illegal and stuff. And we obviously laughed at that concept, right? Because there are situations where divorce is necessary, like in cases of abuse, right? But when Pearly Things was making the argument that you shouldn't get divorced for a bad reason, just because you feel bored in a relationship or something like that, especially if you have kids involved, right?
Yeah.
That's obviously a terrible reason to get divorced.
Yeah.
So what Mia Khalifa's talked about here is just shit. It's complete shit.
No, she hasn't even gotten into the worst part of it yet.
We should not be afraid to leave these men. We are not stuck with these people. Marriage is not a sanctimonious thing. It is paperwork. It's something, it's a commitment you make to someone. But if you feel like you're not getting anything from that commitment and you're trying, you gotta go. You gotta go. You have to go.
So if you just randomly feel like a marriage, you know, I feel like I'm just not happy anymore. So you should just leave and destroy it randomly.
Yeah.
What the fuck is she saying?
Yeah. Also, what she's describing is we shouldn't be afraid to leave these men. Yeah, maybe when you're dating them, sure.
Yeah.
You can leave a man when they're not making you happy while you're dating. She consciously made the decision to get married. She's an adult. She consented. She knew what she was doing. And then she's like, actually, never mind. How about don't get married unless it actually means something to you and you're ready to commit your life to them?
Yeah. It should be a serious decision that you're making, right? Her talking about, oh, marriage isn't this serious deal that we just commit to. Well, actually, it is.
It is.
Right? It actually is. Even if you don't have a religious view of marriage, right? Even if you're just looking at it, you know, as just a, you know, arbitrary concept, marriage is a step above just dating and fucking around.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you're going to choose to get married to a man, this should be somebody that you've considered, like, he makes me happy, we've worked things out, you know, we are compatible together.
Yeah, when there's times that
we
we're
can
down.
see a future.
Yeah, when there's times that we're down or like separate, I don't necessarily just want to up and leave him right away just because we're not getting along in that exact moment. You know, so that's another thing is if you can fight with your partner and still be fine, that's one of the most important parts. But every way that she describes her marriages, it's like she didn't even consider that. She just decided to tie the bow and just jump in and then be like, actually, I fought with him and now I don't like him anymore.
If you're a woman and your like pussy isn't satisfied every day of your life, then fuck it, just leave. What? Yeah. That's terrible advice. And you're going to be on a miserable bitch for the rest of your life if you live like this. You will.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that right now.
Yeah.
I know it's difficult to fill out paperwork and to make appointments and to do all of these things, but this is your fucking life. Do you want to be stuck with someone? Period. Do you want to be stuck with?
Okay, then don't marry them and leave them as you're dating.
Yes.
Leave them as you're dating. Don't marry them then.
Exactly. Don't marry people that you couldn't see a future with. I mean, this is just basic stuff, right?
Yeah.
So obviously this TikTok went viral. People were giving all kinds of responses to it. Many of people's responses were exactly like the response we're giving right now, if not worse, because this TikTok was horrible. So she coped and she made a lot of response videos to, people giving arguments in response to it, right? But she's actually had this take for a long time. So to be fair to her, she has been consistent in her horrible ideas. This is something she tweeted in 2021. Normalize congratulations instead of I'm sorry when somebody gets divorced. We're not all under the covers crying into a pint of ice cream. Well, you will be if you apply her advice to your life.
Yeah, so she's like talking about how she's celebrating and she's loving it and she's having a good time spinning around. Yeah. Honestly, another thing about this too is a lot of people who are abused in marriages and get divorced for abuse reasons, they are crying because they are processing everything in their life and they feel horrible and they're usually out of life for a long time and they feel like shit. And they do want to be apologized to. They want to be told, hey, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry this horrible thing happened in your life. So you're jumping around and having a good time and throwing a party and throwing confetti everywhere, probably because that didn't happen to you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, getting divorced, whatever, it's kind of like an abortion. If you get an abortion and everybody around you is like, yes, congratulations, this is great. These are all psychopaths surrounding you, right? Regardless of what your take is on abortion, whether you think it's immoral or not, you should never celebrate it.
That's horrible.
That's just insane. So, here's the thing, right? So she makes all these like cope response videos. Let's take a look at some of them. This is the first one. It's only 14 seconds long. Somebody says, it's not the same if you have kids. Here's her response.
Oh my God, of course it's not that easy if you have kids, but what do you want to teach your kids? Do you want to teach them to put up with things simply for the betterment of someone else? And at the end of the day, is it for the betterment of your children if you're unhappy?
Yes, because you're not meant to be happy 24/7. Okay?
Life is not always happiness every moment. And like I said, this is not a case of abuse. Let's just be honest. It's not a case where she's getting physically abused. That's never what's happening. Because even the next one, the way that she justifies it is if you need to be happy at all times for everything. That's totally fucking unrealistic.
Yeah, I mean, this idea that people have that you need to be happy 24/7, you know what I mean? It's just so cancerous because, like, that's just not realistic to how life works, right? No. So the idea that if at any point in your life you're, like, dissatisfied with something that's going on, you can't just persist through it and just get, solve your problems yourself. You have to just give up and abandon whatever you're doing. It's just such a horrible philosophy. So somebody says, not about the paperwork. Not everyone has the luxury that you do because you have money. Not only is marriage far-fetched because of expenses, divorce.
I'm assuming then they go on to say divorce is also like expensive as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's how Mia Khalifa responds.
Excuse me? Baby girl, divorce is expensive for everybody, especially if you're the one who has to pay the alimony to the broke-ass bum. What you are saying with this statement is that you, personally, would sacrifice your independence and your freedom and your peace of mind and your happiness for a little financial stability?
Isn't that what everything in life is? Aren't you always sacrificing your freedom and everything, et cetera, for stability? When you go to a job, aren't you sacrificing your freedom for financial stability? That's like what a job is, right? I mean,
if you're so concerned about like the happiness and well-being of your life, wouldn't you want to be financially stable? You know what I mean? If that's like such a big concern of yours, which I mean, it is for everybody, obviously, but I'm not delusional to the point where I think like I must be happy 24/7, otherwise my life is shit,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't really make any sense. And can I just point out how unattractive Mia Khalifa is? I mean, this just masculine sort of like bitchy approach that these women have. It's just like the biggest fucking turnoff of all time. If you're a man watching this, I mean, it's just terrible. If you're a woman, you act like this, stop. Just abandon this. It's just not what we want to hear. I'm sorry, but I just hate this. Like, I watch these TikToks, I'm like, ugh, gross.
Yeah.
At what cost? To me, that seems way more expensive than, I don't know, a couple $1,000s to break up. What? Like, y'all really gotta stop conditioning yourselves to feel like you can't take care of yourself. You are not at the whims of these men. You can leave and start your own life. You should leave and start your own life if you're not happy with everything. Everything should meet your standards. Otherwise, get the...
So Mia Khalifa, you've left and you've started your own life. Are you happy?
Yeah.
You don't look very happy in this fucking TikTok. Actually, in all 3 of these TikToks that we watched so far, you look miserable.
Yeah, and in one of the TikToks, we don't have it pulled up, but she was also like, I'm mainly speaking to the girls who get married really young and then they feel trapped, like 18 years old and they divorce at 20. Yeah, except that's not you. You got remarried again at 25. And then you got re-engaged again at 30 and then failed.
Yeah.
So you're not even talking about your own case. Like, hey, you get married young and it turns out the guy like gets schizophrenia and starts beating you every day. No, you're actually talking about just, I don't even know what you're saying because this doesn't even apply to you. You got married again consciously at 20. You already went through divorce once. You realized what it was like. Then you consciously made the decision to get married again at 25 and couldn't even last like 2 years.
And now you promote this lifestyle to other women as if this is like a winning strategy here. It's not.
It's not. And
you're
like
a prime example of it.
Yeah, you are. And then also, like I said, I mean, she just said there at the end, unless you're happy with everything, literally everything, all of it has to meet your standards or leave. So if he does not do the chores for a couple weeks and it pisses you off, divorce. Instantly divorce. If he talks to your child in a way that you didn't really like for a moment, don't talk it out with him. Don't work it out. Just divorce his ass instantly because he doesn't meet your standards. Yeah, I mean, that's great advice.
Yeah, the West is fucking failing, dude. Let's just be clear here.
Yeah.
We have one final video. Let's hear it out. Let's hear her out, you know?
Yeah.
We should not be afraid to leave these men. I woke up to 30,000 unalive and grape threats on Twitter today over that take, and I'm really failing to see what's wrong with it. I'm failing to see what's wrong in telling young women who get married young that if they are in relationships that are unhealthy and toxic and make them unhappy, that just because they made a commitment, they are not stuck in these relationships. The only people who are mad, it seems like to me, are the men who are the toxic ones in these relationships.
True. You know, that's a great way to respond to an argument. Just straw man everybody that's mad at you as a toxic, womanizing man.
Yeah.
You know, just instantly wins, you know.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Just immediately wins.
Wow.
And also another great way to win an argument is also totally downplay your original point, as if your original TikTok wasn't you coming on and bragging about how many times you got divorced. Instead, now change it to, I just told young women that they should leave relationships that make them feel horrible. That was not the only thing you said.
No.
You encouraged it. You said it's great. You said don't be tied down. Just leave. If you're young, just leave multiple times. Just if not everything's meeting everything perfectly all the time, just leave. Yeah, that's not. You're also not only you're strawmanning, you're downplaying your original point. It's just ridiculous.
Toxic ones in these relationships and who are afraid of their women having self-realization and exercising free will and leaving them. Because the only thing holding their relationships together is probably the fact that they made a commitment and their religion and families fucking perpetuate that ideal that you have to stay in a relationship you committed to. You don't. If you're unhappy, get the fuck out of there.
Jesus.
Whoa.
Just terrible and nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're unhappy in a relationship, sure, obviously get out of there. If you decide to marry them, too bad. Sorry, unless you're abused, too bad.
Yeah, you know, how about you take some responsibility for your own like decision-making abilities?
Yeah.
And understand that like if you look at a man, right, and you're not happy 24/7, you couldn't see like a future with them. You don't fucking marry them, you stupid bitch.
Yeah, don't.